Imagine this for a moment. You are standing at the birth of a city that will one day become one of the most powerful cities in the world. There are no skyscrapers here yet, no crowded subways, no millions of people. Only mist-covered forests, wooden homes, and the scent of an uncertain future. You are standing at the southern edge of an island. The Lenape people call this place Mannahatta, meaning, the island of many hills. A name that carries the raw beauty and untamed spirit of this land. Behind you stretches a vast and dense wilderness. Dense forests cover nearly the entire island, where even sunlight struggles to reach the ground. Giant oak trees stand like ancient guardians. Rows of hickory and chestnut trees sway slowly in the wind, while the cries of wild turkeys echo from the underbrush. Somewhere in the distance, deer footsteps crackle across dry leaves. The air is filled with the scent of wet earth, wood, and river water. Nature is still far more powerful than mankind here. And in front of you lies a small settlement. So small that perhaps only 1,500 people live here. Wooden houses line the narrow muddy streets. Each home has stepped gable roofs built in classic Dutch style. Candlelight flickers softly behind a few windows. Smoke rises slowly from chimneys, while a massive windmill towers above the settlement. Its giant blades turn slowly in the cold wind, as if silently watching over the entire town. A narrow canal cuts through the center of the town, where small boats drift across the water. Merchants unload goods with hurried hands. Some carry timber, while others haul animal pelts. Others unload spices and fabrics brought from distant lands, as this tiny settlement slowly transforms into a city of trade. The air is filled with the scent of trade and money. But the most important part of this settlement is its massive defensive wall. A wooden wall nearly 9 feet tall surrounds the entire town, built from thick timber planks stretching across the settlement. The wall runs from the East River in the east to the Hudson River in the west. It was not built for beauty. It was built from fear, from the need to survive, from the harsh reality of life in the New World. To the north lies the threat of the English, while uncertain relations with the Lenape remain in the west. Powerful rivals surround the colony, ready to seize control of this valuable trading center at any moment. Because this tiny town is more than a settlement. It is the gateway to the commercial future of the New World. Trade in beaver pelts, timber, spices, and sea routes is rapidly turning this region into a place of great importance. And that is why this wall stands along a road that will one day become a symbol of global financial power. One day, the world will know this road by the name Wall Street. This is New Amsterdam, the capital of the New Netherland colony. A Dutch colony stretching from the Delaware River all the way to Connecticut. It was a grand experiment of European ambition in the New World. The year is now 1664, and the governor of this city is Peter Stuyvesant. A former soldier who lost one of his legs in battle and now walks with a wooden prosthetic limb. Yet his presence is so stern and commanding that many people fear him at first sight. He believes this city cannot survive without firm and uncompromising rule. But you do not know yet, the fate of this quiet city is about to change forever. And in just 3 months, 4 English warships will appear on the horizon. They will slowly sail toward the harbor, their cannons aimed directly at the heart of the city. Stuyvesant will try to resist. Until the very last moment, he will want to fight for the Dutch flag. But the ordinary people do not want war, and the merchants refuse to risk losing their businesses. The citizens want no bloodshed. And then, history will witness something extraordinary. Not a single shot will be fired. There will be no great battle, no bloody conflict. Only a flag will change, and New Amsterdam will become New York. But today, at this very moment, everything still remains unchanged. It is still a Dutch city, a busy, chaotic, multicultural port town. A city where people speak 18 different languages. Where beaver pelts flow through trade like water through a river. Where the Dutch Reformed Church creates strict moral rules, yet almost everyone quietly breaks them in their own way. Welcome to 24 Hours in New Amsterdam, a city that has not fully awakened yet. Yet deep inside it, the future of the new world is already beginning to pulse. Dawn. That strange and silent moment just before sunrise. The deep blue sky slowly begins to fade, while a soft orange glow spreads across the horizon. It is late August. The air feels warm, heavy, and humid. A salty scent drifts in from the river, while the night's dew still clings to the wooden roads and grass. You are now standing before Fort Amsterdam, the massive fortress at the southern edge of the island. The star-shaped stone fortress stands as the symbol of power for the entire colony. From a distance, the fortress looks like a European military outpost accidentally placed in the untamed wilderness of the New World. Inside the fort are the Director General's residence and the colony's government offices. There is also a small garrison of tired but alert soldiers, along with a place of worship. Every day, discipline is enforced there in the name of God.
Let the word of the Lord be a light unto your feet, reminding you always of your duty and obedience. Amen.
The fortress walls are built from red and yellow bricks, and none of them are local. They were shipped all the way from Holland, thousands of miles across the ocean. Originally, these bricks were used simply to balance the ships during their voyage. But in the New World, those ordinary bricks became the foundation of an empire's fortress. Above the central tower flies the Dutch flag, orange, white, and blue. Its 3 horizontal stripes sway slowly in the wind. Every movement seems to declare, this city still belongs to the Dutch. And then suddenly, you hear the sound of bells echoing in the distance. The bells echo from the Dutch Reformed Church on Pearl Street, slow, heavy, and commanding. It is time for morning prayer, and this church is far more than a place of worship. It is the moral center of New Amsterdam, shaping people's beliefs, behavior, and daily lives. And the man who enforces that influence is Reverend Samuel Megapolensis. He is not just a clergyman. He is the moral guardian of the city.
You must adhere strictly to the Lord's commands. Idleness and drunkenness will not be tolerated in this New Holland.
His voice carries the fear of God, demands for discipline, and stern warnings against sin. Attendance at church on Sundays is mandatory, and anyone who skips worship must pay a fine. Because in this city, religion is not just personal faith, it is part of social control. The church building itself is very modest, wooden, small, and simple. There are no golden decorations, no grand statues, and none of the splendor of a Catholic cathedral. During the Reformation, the Dutch Reformed Church deliberately removed such extravagance. They believed that reaching God required neither gold nor ornament. Yet the people gathered inside the church are far from alike. You see wealthy Dutch merchants dressed in dark wool coats. White linen collars rest around their necks, while cautious calculation fills their expressions. Trade is the true source of their power in this city. Standing beside them are the Walloons, a French-speaking Protestant community. The Walloons fled Spanish persecution in Belgium and came here in search of a new life. The fear of their old world still lingers in their eyes. Then you notice the Africans. Some are enslaved, while others are free. The Dutch West India Company forcibly brought countless Africans here from Angola and the Congo. Their labor built the roads, homes, warehouses, and even parts of the fortress itself. The very foundation of this city stands upon their sweat. But the reality of New Amsterdam is strangely complex. Some Africans here have managed to buy their freedom, and a few have even received land. A few have even married Dutch settlers. In the New World, the boundaries of race, religion, and identity are still not fully defined. Everything is changing, and everything feels uncertain. There are Germans, Scandinavians, sailors, and laborers living here. There are refugees fleeing the past and merchants searching for fortune. And there are English settlers who arrived before Dutch control fully took hold of the region. Everyone in this city is different, different languages, different cultures, different beliefs. But one thing binds them all together, the desire to survive in the new world. And it is not only Europeans or Africans here, Jews also live in this city. Especially the Sephardic Jews, who crossed many lands and hardships before reaching New Amsterdam. In 1654, they fled from Brazil after the Portuguese retook the region. With it came the fear of religious persecution, and they hoped the new world might offer safety. But even in New Amsterdam, uncertainty still awaited them. Governor Peter Stuyvesant himself wanted to ban them from entering the city. He believed the Jews would disrupt the city's religious and social order. But in the end, his decision did not stand, because true power in this city was not held by the governor alone. The greatest power belonged to the Dutch West India Company. And to them, business, profit, and trade mattered far more than religion. They understood that the more people a city attracted, the richer that city would become. The more languages, cultures, and skills combined together, the faster trade would grow. That is how this tiny town of just 1,500 people came to speak 18 different languages. Dutch, French, German, English, African dialects, Spanish, Portuguese, and countless more languages and accents, like a small reflection of the entire world. Walking through the streets feels as if small pieces of the entire world have gathered here. This is what happens when a trading company builds a colony. Diversity here is not an ideal, it is a business strategy. Because diversity means new customers, new labor, and new markets. And in the end, it means even greater profit. Morning prayer has ended, and the church bells slowly fade into the air. You begin walking along Pearl Street, with the shoreline of the East River stretching beside you. Morning light shimmers across the river while a thin layer of mist still floats above the water. There is a strange reason why this road is called Pearl Street. Countless oyster shells once covered the shoreline, and they were crushed into the dirt roads. When the dawn light hits the ground, the entire street glimmers like pearls. As you walk, the smell of freshly baked bread suddenly drifts into the air. A Dutch bakery, Bakkerij, has just begun its day's work. Inside, fire burns in a massive stone oven, filling the warm air with the scent of flour and butter. The baker's wife places freshly made, koek, crisp Dutch cookies, outside the shop. Beside them are oliekoeks, round cakes fried in oil. Many years later, the world will know them by a different name, donuts. You buy an oliekoek. It is still warm, and powdered sugar sticks to your fingers. With the very first bite, a soft sweetness fills your mouth. But for most people in New Amsterdam, breakfast is far more simple. Bread, butter, and cheese make up the daily meal for many families. Some eat hutspot, a warm mash made from vegetables and potatoes. Others eat tensoep, a thick pea soup, if any remains from the day before. The tables of wealthy merchants, however, look very different.
The trade routes are becoming more hazardous, Jan.
Indeed. We must ensure the next shipments are well guarded.
Their meals include salted herring, smoked eel, and slices of ham. And of course, there is always beer. Always beer. Because the city's water is unsafe. River water and wells often spread disease. So from children to the elderly, almost everyone drinks some form of light beer every day. As the morning advances, the harbor grows busier and louder. Large ships sit anchored offshore in the distance. Small boats constantly move back and forth between the ships and the shore. Some unload cargo, others drag wooden crates, while clerks record accounts in thick ledgers. Shouts, creaking ropes, grinding wagon wheels, and the cries of seabirds blend into a strange rhythm. You eventually reach the Strand, the busy waterfront where ships come ashore. This is the heart of the city, where the economy of New Amsterdam truly breathes. At that very moment, a ship arrives from upriver. The ship has come from Fort Orange, one of the Dutch colony's most important trading posts. A place that will one day become the city of Albany. After a long river journey, the ship brings wealth from the northern wilderness. And hidden within that cargo lies the true power of New Amsterdam. The moment the ship reaches the shore, the harbor becomes even more crowded and alive. Sailors shout while crates crash onto the docks and rough ropes scrape loudly against wood, creating a chaotic rhythm. Men now begin unloading beaver, stacks of valuable beaver pelts. Hundreds of pelts are carried on shoulders while others drag heavy bundles tied with thick ropes. The pelts are piled high beside the docks, and the air grows heavy with the smell of wet fur. Within months, each pelt will travel thousands of miles to Amsterdam and become a luxury product. The fur will be crafted into expensive felt hats worn by wealthy European gentlemen. And truthfully, this is the real reason New Amsterdam exists: beaver fur. This entire city, this harbor, this colony, all of it revolves around one animal. At that time, felt hats made from beaver fur were incredibly fashionable across Europe.
The recent ventures in the Low Countries are proving most profitable, wouldn't you agree?
Quite. Though the levies on the wool are becoming rather burdensome.
They were not merely clothing, but symbols of status and social prestige. Every respected gentleman wanted one of those hats upon his head.
A most insightful observation, my friend. The markets in Amsterdam remain promising.
To our continued success.
That demand transformed the forests of the New World into the center of a massive economic race. The entire trade is controlled by the Dutch West India Company. In Dutch, it is called the West-Indisch Company, or simply the WIC. It is not merely a trading company. It is powerful enough to resemble a state itself. They possess their own soldiers, ships, weapons, and even the power to wage war. Far upriver along the Hudson, indigenous groups like the Mohawk and Mahican hunt beavers. Deep in the forests, they trap the animals and later sell the pelts to Dutch traders. In exchange, they receive European goods, iron tools, metal knives, and colorful cloth. They are also given glass beads and firearms. At first, the trade appeared profitable for both sides.
We had an agreement. You cannot simply change the terms now.
The price is the price. There is nothing more to discuss.
But over time, the relationship began to grow far more complicated. The beaver pelts are then transported down the Hudson River to New Amsterdam. Loaded onto small boats, cargo barges, and trade vessels, they arrive at the harbor. From there, larger ships carry them across the Atlantic to Amsterdam. In the end, the fur is transformed into expensive felt hats. Profit. Massive profit. The system appears remarkably simple. Raw materials come from the New World, while wealth accumulates in Europe. And in the middle of it all, the WIC counts its growing fortune. It was an enormously profitable business, yet dangerously unstable at the same time. Overhunting was rapidly reducing the beaver population. Deep in the forests, they were no longer as easy to find as before. At the same time, competition with the English colonies was growing more intense.